Okay, so I'm back for another episode of Wavy Physics, but it's going to be a bit of an unconventional episode this time, as we're in the middle of a shutdown, pretty much a global shutdown. There's not so much engineering going on, there's not any motorsport going on, and we're all at home. And that just happened to coincide with this. So, I've broken my kneecap. I was skating in London the other day, and still don't really know what happened, but I must have hit something or lost my balance, and next thing I know I was on the floor. And yeah, my kneecap is broken in two. So being interested in science, that then inspired me to research into the bone repair process. And it's actually really interesting. So I'll break it down for you briefly. There's three main phases with a break such as this. The first phase is the inflammatory phase. So immediately when I fell over, like within seconds, my whole knee area was swollen up. It was like the size of a grapefruit. And that's as blood vessels and things like that around that injury are damaged. As time goes on, that blood then coagulates. It immobilizes the joint, immobilizes any bone fragments from moving around, and it introduces into the next phase of bone healing, which is called the reparative phase. So in the reparative phase, collagen infiltrates the coagulated blood, and that starts to form the framework of something called a callus, which is effectively the intermediate phase of the repair process. It's not as hard as actual bone, but it provides a framework for cells called osteoclasts to lay down bone material and minerals. Once that phase is done, which I believe is, you move into the remodeling phase, where the body just tidies up the break, removes any excess bone material, and the strengthening process is repeated. So while I'm going through this, I thought it would be a nice idea to make a YouTube video of the recovery process. When I went to the hospital, they gave me this knee brace and pretty much just said to me, wear this for 4 weeks, don't take it off, and come back for an x-ray. But being involved in exercise for the last 20 years or whatever, I'm pretty familiar with injury. I know my body pretty well, and I know how to listen to what it's asking for during the recovery process of any injury. So I'm going to apply the learnings that I've had to this and not just blindly follow the doctor's guidelines. Not that I'm saying he's wrong, and I don't want this to be considered as medical advice, but this is just my approach to the problem, which is always usually slightly unconventional. The first thing I'm doing with this is setting my first goal. And what I've set there is to be able to walk without this brace and without crutches very gently in 2 weeks. So today is day 7 and it's healing nicely. So given another week, I think that's going to be feasible. In terms of what I'm doing to help the process, diet is obviously very important. So I eat every morning, like my morning routine or part of my breakfast routine is just have a smoothie, a fruit and vegetable smoothie. So I've been doing that for the last 5 years. I'll continue to do that. I'm also taking something called Cmos or Irish moss. So this is Cmos. It's a type of algae, and it's got something like 90 of the 100 minerals that we need as humans. It's got a lot of magnesium, which is good for bone health, which is going to be good in my case. Yeah, this is in gel form, so it's been boiled down into a gel, and it's got blueberry flavour, which is why it's purple. Usually it's clear. I take a couple tablespoons of this every morning with my smoothie, just to get the extra nutrients and supplement what I'm already taking. I'm also rubbing CBD oil into the knee every night. I know CBD has good anti-inflammatory properties, and perhaps it might stimulate the healing process, I don't know, but I have it, so I'm going to use it. I'm icing it twice a day, and yeah, I'm also just trying to keep it somewhat moving. I mean, at the moment my range of motion is pretty small, but it's now at the point where it's improving daily, so just gradually I'm feeling the joint open up a bit more. It's been pretty sore. I've just been really waiting for the inflammation to die down before I can start moving into the next phases of the rehab. But yeah, as of today, day 7, the swelling's gone down a lot, the soreness has gone down a lot. I can bear weight on it without a lot of pain. So today is day 14 since the injury. It's been a lot of rest. I've been icing it still eating well. And the pain's gone down a lot, so I'm feeling much more confident on it. And I feel like I'm ready to start a bit of rehab. So some of the things I've noticed throughout the week is that every day the swelling's going down, every day it's getting less sore, but there's an overriding like tightness. So every time I try and bend my knee, I get just a tight feeling across my kneecap. And it doesn't hurt, but it's definitely preventing some range of motion. So I've been massaging it quite often, pretty much every day, just getting into the tension around the quadriceps. And it feels great, so that's encouraging me to do it more. So yesterday I spent about an hour just massaging the muscle and worked out a lot of tension. Today I'm feeling good and I'm going to start some rehab. So as far as rehab exercises, there's really two things that I've noticed that are going to set my objectives. My range of motion in my knee is currently it's probably about 10 degrees, so that's the first thing I want to improve. And secondly, in extension, my knee is really weak, in the sense that sitting on the floor with my knee out in front of me, I can't even lift up my leg without my knee bending. I physically, that's just shut down. So I'm going to work on some knee extensions for that and some knee flexion to get my range of motion back. But I really found it quite interesting, like how your body just shuts everything down. Obviously having a broken kneecap, like your quads are the strongest muscle in your body, so if my body didn't shut down that link between my mind and my quads, it could just pull that injury apart every time it tried to heal. So yeah, it's pretty much disabled knee extension. The intelligence of our bodies is really quite impressive. To sense that injury and to then protect itself, firstly with swelling to immobilize the joint, then by recruiting all the surrounding muscles to keep the joint stable and restrict motion, and taking all the strength out of that knee extension movement. So I had initially set myself a goal that by today I'd be able to walk without the knee brace and without crutches, very slowly at least, but still a walk. Sad times under lockdown, boy. So I've just come down to my local park, get my daily bit of exercise, and I'm just going to try walking without crutches, without the brace, for pretty much the first time, outside at least. So let's see how I go. Okay, first steps. Mission accomplished, I would say. It didn't hurt, but it's definitely very stiff still. So the rehab, as I keep doing that, should loosen me up. Yeah, that was the first challenge I set myself the very day that I did it. So that's a good one to get under. My next challenge, 5 days, back to my normal stride, normal gait, without any pain, and into a bit of gentle exercise.